welcome back to Refresh. As you know, or if you don't know, this is a time to connect, be inspired, to learn something new, and ultimately feel a bit better about ourselves and this time we spend together. So how is everybody? With all that's happening in the world, we need to find the rays of sunshine, the moments to celebrate, the moments that motivate, the ones that can make us smile. And I have to tell you, today is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. That puts a smile, I think, on all of our faces, doesn't it? And a
Yes.
big thank you and shout out to Billie Jean King, who I will forever, and all of us in women's sports will be thankful for forever. And the Women's Sports Foundation, now being so ably led by Danette Layton, one of my former colleagues, for founding this day back in 1987 to promote equality and opportunities for girls and women in sports and to raise awareness and promote equity in athletics. And I'll tell you, I don't think there's a better antidote in life than being active, having the ability to play, to compete, and to learn. And today, in particular, the roof is truly being raised, right? A new women's professional ice hockey league has launched. A PWHL, there's 6 teams, and one of my great friends, Amy Shear, is one of the executives. Our guest, Kelly Dyer Hayes, will have some great insights about this long-awaited new happening, but also as a member of the women's, that's several years, member of the National Hockey, U.S. hockey team. She'll have, sure, a lot to share about that. And the NWSL continues to raise the roof under Commissioner Jessica Berman, set new attendance records in 2023 with over 1.3 million fans and new teams coming on board, and yes, viewing records. And Kay Rollins, I admire her so much, was a part of building this foundation as a founder of the Orlando Pride, and we'll hear more about that as well. And then how about the WNBA? You know, always have a sweet spot for them. Large attendance and television viewing jumps, not to mention new team in San Francisco, long awaited, which it has been long awaited. I'll tell you, I can tell you that personally. Liz Galloway McQuitter helped set the stage for that league as a pioneer in the first women's pro league, the WBL, and she'll tell us a little bit more about that. We didn't play on the same team, we played against each other, but have reunited now to hopefully make good things happen for women in sports. Now, I have to say, as I was writing this, I realized I was quoting business facts, you know, the fact that our sports economy, which does reflect the culture of our times, right? It's a bellwether. It tells us what is valued out in the marketplace, what people are watching, thinking, hearing, feeling, and what is not. Too often, women's sports have not. And yet, the milestones of success that we can now quote are showing way different indicators, right? They're all positive. Women's sports is on the rise. It's what I have personally hoped for, honestly, what I've dreamed for. And I'm not alone. And I've worked for, again, not alone, and continue to do so. Because being a female athlete inspired me to create Generation W, which has brought us all here together today, and Generation WOW, and build Refresh, this program with my teammates. Foremost among them, Holy Cross Hall of Famer, scoring record holder and producer Sherry Levin, who is also a celebrator of this day and has authored this program. So Sherry, thank you for every day. But before introducing our guest formally, I just feel compelled, just a minute, if you will, on the value of sports for all of our kids, for our boys and for girls, and for us. Sports to me is artistic. It's poetry in motion. It's people coming together for a greater purpose. It's individual notes joining together to create a symphonic harmony. Sports is about grace and gratitude and, yes, grit. It's learning to compete and how to win and how to lose. It's about developing confidence and muscles, both mental and physical. And I can go on, but mostly you don't have to be an elite athlete to do any of this. You just have to play. And play is something we need so much more of. And I'm so proud, in addition to these elite contributors, right? Today, we're so happy and proud to have 3 amazing elite athletes, writer of the Girls and Women in Sports Today, writer of our story. They're contributors in their own ways to the ongoing record of highlights and progress, just like Grace Renners is, who just tuned in. She's a high school athlete playing high school basketball, setting records. She reminds me of a young Caitlin Clark. And her story, right? The fact that she's here with us, we're writing this story so that she can have the opportunities that she is making the most of. So I want to say thank you to our guests. Thank you to all of us, all of you who have joined us, because everyone here, I am sure, are contributors to this great story, the success story now of women in sports. So let's start I'm going to get to you, Grace, with Kelly Dyer. Kelly, tell us a little bit about your story, if you would, please.
Love to. Thank you, Donna, for having us and pulling us all together. This is really exciting. I am a women's hockey player. I really am one of the first recipients or people to benefit from Title IX, being at my time of coming through playing girls, women's hockey, but also boys hockey at the same time. Again, I played a girls club team, but then I played boys high school, and I ended up at a great high school with 5 of the guys from my team ended up going to the NHL. With that, step forward into college, and again, I entered college in 1985, and the first ever women's ice hockey player to receive a scholarship was Cindy Curley at Providence College 2 years before I entered Northeastern. So again, when you talk of Billie Jean King and Title IX, truly I have been blessed in my life because of this. So and then good fortune followed me as Women's Team USA was formed as I was graduating from college, and I was the first member and the first goaltender for the 1990 Team USA women's national team to compete in a sanctioned world championship. Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
I'll
Um,
say, I'll say it must be exciting. What was the most exciting moment you remember? Like, just pick one.
Stepping onto the ice in Ottawa for the first moments playing against Canada in the gold medal game and feeling the energy and the eruption of the crowd. It was
Oh, yeah.
incredible to feel that physically on your body from that many people exploding with excitement.
That's awesome. And that's actually reminds me, I'm going to ask you in a little bit, like about another kind of special moment. That reminds me of one of mine. All right, Liz, former opponent, but for life teammate. How about you? Tell us a little bit.
Oh, a happy day to everyone, Women and Girls in Sports Day to everyone. We're certainly glad to be able to participate in that. I hail from a small town, Rockdale, Texas, by way of Temple Junior College, UNLV, and then, lucky for us, landed in the WBL, the first Women's Professional Basketball League. And after playing in the WBL, I entered the coaching profession for 32 years, as did most of my counterparts. We became a generation of firsts. And I want to just actually what Kelly was saying, if you notice, she said, I was the first, I was the first, I was the first. We became a generation of first. Title IX trailblazers, AIAW trailblazers, WBL trailblazers, the hockey. So with that in mind, after we were inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018, as trailblazers of the game, the WBL was, of which Donna is a part, it became clear to us that the full history, the full scope, the full impact of these women of the WBL, actually this special triad of Title IX, AIAW, and WBL trailblazers, the full history was not known. So Legends of the Ball, Inc. was born. And started off with 12 former WBL players. Now our board is 8. Adrian Mitchell Newell, Charlene Jackson. I always mention my board because they're amazing women. Trish Roberts, Retha Swindell, Deborah Thomas, Molly Boland, and Peggy Gillum Granderson make up our Lob Inc. board. And our mission is to promote the historic and social relevance of that league. Not only that league, but the entire Title IX generation. And that has become such a big part of my life's work right now. And I'm a writer. I'm working on a book right now. I've written poetry and excerpts and narratives, and most of it surrounds the history. Not trying to speak for everyone, but offer my perspective on an era that I was part of. And if that speaks to and resonates with others, then I will speak for them. So my journey in sports has led me to where I am, and all of us that were part of that era. I think that's the thing that connects us all on this call and all of us in sports.
That's pretty cool. I actually want to go back to those pictures later because I want to know who's behind you. I remember that number 31. A woman named Mara. And then I was looking at the WBL, huh? And then there's a WBL photo. Who is the woman with the ball in the front? Wasn't she the great dribbler?
I can't.
I just got to, right here. Who's the woman with the ball in the front? She was like a ball trickster, I remember. Like she was one of the
Tanya Crevier. That's on my group page. Those are my Lob board members. There's Retha, Molly, Trish, Shar, Adrian, DK, and myself. Tanya Cravier, we work with her.
I remember Todd. She was one of the great ball trick, whatever, like
Still
first time
is,
I've ever
Donna.
seen. She was awesome,
Still
right?
is. That was Dallas last year. She
That's
performed.
amazing.
We
That
did
is amazing.
clinic.
All right, so we've got a basketball historian, story maker. We have our ice hockey player, and now, right? What could be hotter than right now? Other than volleyball's pretty hot, but soccer, the NWSL. Kay Rollins.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on this webinar. And happy Women and Girls in Sports Day. I have a slightly different journey. You can probably tell from the accent. I grew up in the UK. I played every sport going at school. I represented my school in athletics, in swimming, in field hockey. I've never played ice hockey, but field hockey, I was always covered in bruises as a kid. And then made my way across the pond. And I think for me, obviously you grow up with soccer, with football in England, it's king, it's the sport. So I'd loved it all my life. Had a relationship with a team in England, one of the ones that actually founded the Football League over there in 1863. And they were looking for an affiliate in America. And so that's how Orlando City was born. And then the very following year was when Orlando Pride. And obviously I always wanted there to be, a women's team as well. You know, it's incredible what we've been able to do with them so far. It happened a bit sooner than we thought it was going to, but they were keen to grow the league at that point. And like Donna said, we've added 2 more teams this year, so we're up to 14. There's another team being added next year. So the opportunities for women to perform are coming. And just on a side note, we just had the first game in the Women's Professional Volleyball League. So we went to watch the Orlando Valkyries the other night at the UCF Stadium. And then on last Saturday, we had the marathon trials in Orlando. So I was fortunate to see all those incredible women runners, and the winner did it in 2 hours and 22 minutes, people. Seriously, like that is mind-blowing to me. But so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. I want to go back a little bit. So someone makes a phone call, you come to America and found a professional football team, soccer team? Like, seriously?
Yeah. Well, they kind of told us what they were looking for, and my ex-husband and I kind of started looking at the soccer landscape. Never really paid that much attention, quite honestly. This was back in 2007. And MLS was still growing. It only started in 1996. So it's still a baby in comparison to a lot of the other leagues here. It's still quite young. And we just couldn't find what we thought they were looking for. So we just sat down over the kitchen table one morning with a piece of paper and said, why don't we start a team? How hard can it be? And so that's kind of that's literally how it started. And I guess for me, that was a little smaller of a dream at the time. That was we were in USL, which is the United Soccer Leagues, the minor league. But we soon realized, go big or go home. So that was when we had a press conference and said, we're minor league right now, but we're going to be major league in 5 years. And we were. So 2015 was the first year in Major League Soccer for Orlando City. And then 2016 was the first year in NWSL for the Orlando Pride.
Wow. And I got to come to the Pride game. I have my Pride jersey and I'm very prideful, proud. There you go. Kelly, let me ask you this question on a personal level. How did you experience the power of sports personally? How did it impact you most?
Well, I think it was the single greatest force in my life, from everything as a child and the drive to do the best you could do in your academics because you didn't want anything to interfere with you playing your sport.
Right.
But the overall one lesson is working well with others and like that bond that's created. And especially as being a goaltender, you can't win the game without your teammates. I love my defensemen as my favorite people on earth. So really, just that you know, what you can do when you come together at that deeper level and what you can accomplish. I mean, we won tournaments sometimes with, you know, 9 players and went to the highest level of hockey, and everybody's like, what are the people doing? Normally you'd have 20 players on a team, and you know, we won. We had no business winning, but we had the drive within, and we trusted each other.
Wow, that's amazing. How about you, Liz?
Well, it took this shy little girl and gave her a platform to be aggressive. My junior high,
Wait. You were shy?
I was.
Wow.
My
Okay.
junior
That's
high
awesome.
coach. I was taller, and I played with the boys in a neighborhood where the girls and boys played together. And when we started in Texas, I wouldn't go hard against the other girls. I was better and taller, and my coach said, you've got to be aggressive. And there was no looking back. And out of that came just the greatest sense of loyalty and camaraderie and trust that you build, that is the keys to success of anything you do in sports. And it translates and transfers. It has throughout my entire life. Leadership, speaking, writing, all of it was honed from sports.
Yeah, right. It's amazing. When we'll talk a little bit about why women have been so late to the game. How about you? Your one moment, other than saying, "Oh, we weren't really doing much, and then we ended up with the big time team."
I mean, it obviously sports brought me a lot of things, including, you know, confidence, which, you know, to your point, Liz, you know, it teaches you so much. But I think if I was going to pick one moment, it would have to be the first game in MLS. We'd been playing as a minor league team in front of crowds of about 10,000. And that day we had 62,500 people in the stadium, all wearing purple, which is obviously our colors and my favorite color. And I think just standing on the center circle that day, it gives me chills now, like just looking around and seeing all these people and going, our dream came true. It happened. It's here. It was a pretty special day.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about dreams. And as we're having this conversation, I know Patrina Parker, who is our relatively new senior manager of communications. She was a volleyball collegiate player and now coaches young girls. I'm sure she's relating to a lot of all of these motivations and reasons why coaches go back to coach younger athletes, specifically for all of those things that you are recounting that happened for you. Liz, you coached for a lot of years.
Yes. I think as coaches, you're talking, and I know I'm kind of getting off here, but you talk about how you impact and how you make changes. All of us have coached players who've coached players who've coached players. And also most of us were educators as well. So I think the impact that we had, or the opportunity that we had to have an impact on lives, I can just pull names right now of women who are doing amazing things outside of sports. It's kind of like that NCAA narrative. It's bigger than the actual game itself, but that you can't be successful without the game. So my coaching career yielded so many positive results, and relationships is the greatest takeaway that you carry for the rest of your life. I wrote something called Pieces of Me, because you take a piece of each one of them has a piece of you, each one that you touch, each one whose life you touch.
That's interesting, right? That is so interesting. Right. And there's a piece of you, and it's a different thing. People will take different pieces of you, right?
Yes. But and the line goes, but yet I'm whole. It doesn't deplete you. You stay whole, even though they're taking pieces of you. It's kind of what makes you whole and keeps you whole.
Right. Let me just take a second here and just welcome everybody who might have joined us a little bit late. Those of you on Facebook. Today we are celebrating Girls and Women in Sports Day. It is a celebratory time because we know all the values and lessons and the experience of sport at any level is definitely life enhancing. It makes us all better. And the fact that women are finally having the opportunity to stake their claim, get their opportunities in greater numbers, actually makes us a better society, a better world. And these 3 women here and everyone who's listening is all part of writing that story. And so we're feeling especially happy today. Let me ask you a question. Who helped lift you up, Kelly? You know, when you played ice hockey, as you said, you were at the forefront. You were on the first U.S. women's team, which means there wasn't any U.S. teams before you. So there wasn't anything you were particularly looking for, but you wanted to excel. So who was there that pushed you along?
Well, I think, back then our role models were the NHL men hockey players. We didn't have much else to envision. So it's so great seeing the PWHL and saying this is a dream come true, but sort of my generation of player, we didn't have the visual of that dream. So for us, I think it was a coach that believed in us. And again, it was such a commitment for the girls to kind of be doing this unusual thing, playing ice hockey, that we were very bonded. So together we lifted each other up, but also, we had a coach that was so committed that he actually purchased the arena so that we could have prime ice time.
What? Wait, who is
Yeah,
this guy?
so this was Carl Gray, and he is the owner and the developer of Assabet Girls Ice Hockey in Concord, Massachusetts.
Wow.
So that was his commitment, because that's the other problem in all of this, like, is the opportunity and the timing to play, especially if you need a pool or a rink or something more specific. So having that opportunity to skate, but we always skated at prime times. We had Wednesdays and Saturdays and all the good time that fits into life and school and everything. So, that and my parents are always very supportive. So just friend and community was just very fortunate. And at my time of growing up in the Boston area, we had Bobby Orr playing for the Bruins. So, male or female, it didn't matter. Everybody was inspired by this tremendous athlete and passionate player.
Wow, it's incredible, right? And that this man bought this and we do need allies. We're not in this on our own, that's for sure, right? This is all of us together. I got this great email yesterday from this remarkable businesswoman, and she says, I look forward to spending time with more male leaders. And sometimes when you're in a woman working with women organizations, they go, why is that man there? And the truth of the matter is, if we know as athletes, right, life is about teamwork.
Right. And in hockey, especially where it was so male dominated, we have many he for she's, like, Joe Britannia, who was my goalie coach since I was 11. He was the one who created the women's bean pot and the other little things that didn't seem super important along the way, but a women's bean pot hall of fame. And now that number of years have gone through and we have a whole community in that sector, like, these were just things he did because they were the right thing to do. And it was pretty
Love
amazing.
that. Don't you love the right thing to do? Tell us about the bean pot. Not everybody knows what the bean pot is. Remember, there's a lot of people here not from the Northeast on this call.
Understood. Yeah, so the Bean Pot is a tremendous event. So it's a hockey championship with the 4 Boston schools. So Boston College, BU, Northeastern, and Harvard. And they come together. They have a first round and then the finals, which are usually the most exciting, to win the Bean Pot. And so you actually have a bean trophy, a bean pot trophy that is a great pride to host in your school. So the men's have been around for 71 years. And the women just experienced their 45th championship last month. But the big difference is the men's have always been played in the Boston Garden. And with that, they're the first and second Monday of February. So a very, ritual of patterns of people attending. This year, again, through the efforts of many, but also this Joe Britannia, we were able to move the women's bean pot to the TD Garden. So the Boston
Oh,
Bruins.
big time. Big time.
Yeah, big time is right. So we moved to, the largest stage in hockey. And again, it was, COVID had slowed us down. It had been in the works for over 10 years, and the coaches at each of the schools and the administrations, everybody had been involved. But when it was finally decided and the date was set, it was sort of like, oh, well, the tickets are for sale. Let's see what happens. And so it was actually Mary with Women X who just had this vision of taking this to the next level and pulled in myself and our teammate Linda Lundergan, and we named ourselves Boston Unites. And we did everything from grassroots, from handing out flyers at the PWHL games to getting more people involved. We had a champion at each of the schools and really got Nesson and the Boston Globe and other media people involved. And it really exploded the attendance. And so the average attendance of a women's Beanpot Championship was around 1,400 historically. And so we brought 10,633 people into the Boston Garden.
Whoa, as Linda says, woohoo, bean pot, woohoo, Linda, woohoo. So let me ask you this. So we're seeing, right, we saw the 92,000 for the Nebraska volleyball game, right, that record-setting thing. We're seeing Caitlin Clark selling out the entire Iowa season and everywhere she goes, right? We saw North Carolina State women's basketball sell out. You know, we only dreamed of those things, Liz. We're seeing NWSL had over 1.3 million. We talked about attendance. We saw that, the LSU, this is coming off the top of my head, the LSU South Carolina game had higher television ratings than the NBA regular season games that were playing that same night. What
Juju
is-
Watkins from USC.
Hmm?
Juju Watkins from USC.
Juju Watkins and
Yeah.
being coached by our good friend who's out there.
Mhm.
Tell me, what are you guys seeing? What does it say to you? I mean, you're in the business of professional sports, Kay, right? I know that you run the foundation, but what is Liz and Kelly? What does this say to you? Who wants to jump in?
Well, I think that finally they're paying attention, you know, and I think it's been the hardest thing, you know, and I think for me, especially as we have a men's and a women's team, I see firsthand sometimes the differences. We try to make sure we don't, like I'm actually at the women's training center today. I'm in the, they call it the tranquility room, not supposed to be doing work.
Okay.
Not supposed to be doing work in here, but it's the only quiet place at the moment because we're doing some orientation with the players. But you see it from things on the television. Like if you think about a men's soccer game, the build up, you know, they show the goals and it seems like the most exciting thing in the world. And then for the women, you just never, you know, sometimes you'd struggle to even find what channel it was on so that you could watch. And then if you got one replay or two, you felt lucky that you'd even seen a replay. Whereas in the guys, they show you 27 different angles and, you know, they make it seem much more exciting. And I don't think they put the money or the resources into who's calling the games, you know, how they're transmitting them out. That's what we've seen change. I know NWSL have had another new deal this year that's even better than
Record breaking.
last year. So that's what I've seen change, is that people are starting to pay attention. And we've seen it on the corporate side too. We've now got partners who come very specifically for the Orlando Pride. And again, it used to be, oh, we'll sponsor the guys, but oh yeah, okay, we'll sponsor the women as well. And it was always this like kind of add-on. That's changing as well. And that's really exciting to see.
Really exciting. How about you, Liz? Yeah.
For me, Donna, I think it's quality. You know, we talk about and we see the sellouts, but with the Chicago Hustle, Chuck Schreiber, who was our general manager and worked for the Bears and the White Sox, the Cubs, worked for the pro teams there. He said, if you come watch these ladies, and that's what he did, he got them there. And they stayed because of the quality of play. So I think you're looking and you're seeing all these women in all the sports, whether it's tennis or basketball or volleyball. I've fallen in love with volleyball, you know,
Right.
watching the quality of play is exciting. You can't say it's not exciting. You can't say they're not skilled. So I think that's what people are watching, and they're seeing women get out there and play the sport the way it's supposed to be played. And I think that's why they're staying. They're coming, they're getting hooked, and they're paying to see it.
Yeah, they are. And I listen, having been on the front lines of all this, trying to sell the WNBA, I always thought the product was great. The players were always great. There's always a new one taking you to another level, right? Like we're seeing now. I'm happy that now people are recognizing and paying for it where companies before didn't. Kelly, like, you know, we just saw a new league. There's been a lot of talk for a lot of years, a lot of people behind the scenes. We finally have the PWHL. What are you seeing with that?
Tremendous excitement, and as was just mentioned, you know, a lot of professionalism in bringing the product together. And I think, you know, with the media, it grows upon itself, but also very much to Kay's point, like, especially in the sport of ice hockey, where you have lighting, ice, like you have a lot of factors. But if you don't get in and get that good perspective on the game and you're just shooting it from the rafters, any hockey game is not going to look that exciting. So it's the angles and the commitment to multiple cameras and, you know, the technology to drive this to have a good viewership. Which then again, like we saw with the Beanpot, a lot of people watched it. The Beanpot was covered by Nesson, who then shared it with ESPN Plus and TSN Plus in Canada. is so many people commented back to us is like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. I will not miss it next year. And this is what keeps propelling things forward. But again, to see it is then not only for the little girls and boys to want to be it, but then also keeps that energy rolling, which then, as we know, brings in sponsors and other funding, which makes more things possible. So it's like riding that wave.
Yes, we're definitely, I happened to say in the wave, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. I also happen to sit on the board of the World Surf League. And we were the first professional league that paid our CT, which are championship tour athletes, both men and women. They had the chance to earn the same amount of money. We did that, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. So very, very proud, and also working hard to create equity because the women surfers are phenomenal. The men surfers are phenomenal, right? They deserve and we deserve, right? But it's a collective, and we have to figure out how to keep this momentum going. Let me just say, if anyone has any questions, you're invited. When do you get like these 3 amazing women that you can actually ask questions to? Kirian, I wanted to mention, you said that you heard a theme here, and I was just going to say, you're hearing audacity, vision, and tenacity. I like those words a lot, a real lot. Anybody else here? I don't want to miss anybody who's made. Oh, I think I wanted to welcome. Oh, Catherine Wickersham just did a capstone on women in sports. Haley Rosen, which we all know, launched a business for women's media.
Hmm.
A lot of people said it wouldn't go. She's doing a heck of a job wherever I go. They're impressed by Haley and the media platform that she's created. And she often says men's sports are invested in based on potential, but women's are judged on current performance. Catherine, we can say that about sports, but we can say that about every aspect. That's why there's only 2.5% of investment dollars available to women. Are you going to tell me that only 2.5% of women or new businesses are worthy? No, right? The same kind of thing. I'm going to bet on him, but her, she better show me. So absolutely, we still got to break down those barriers. And Jennifer Herrera, welcome from the National Women's History Museum. It's really nice to have you, and I'm glad you're excited about all of this. Let me ask you, Sherry, I think, Sherry, you had a really good question. Okay. What's our advice to young girls today? You got to look around. They've grown up in a different world. They have opportunities. Do they get it? Do they appreciate it? Are they embracing the grind? Any advice?
I have to jump. I'm sorry. I'm just chomping at the bit because our battle is teaching history. And Jennifer Herrera is at the National Women in History Museum, a collaborative partner of ours, who's all about women's history. And I hear Kelly talking about history and Kay talking, and you, Donna. My wish for them is that they would connect to the past, and they would use that connection as a reference, as a guide, and then most importantly, as a touchstone. To know that somebody came before you, somebody opened doors and kept those doors open for you to walk through, and that we've never left the game. I mean, Donna, you continue to do, look what you're doing now. Our generation is just that generation who took the baton that Title IX handed to us and passed it on and continue to pass it on. As our mantra says, passing it on, paying it forward. I would like them to know that there was a past, that somebody did come before you, and you can use us. We're living, breathing history. As you're making history, celebrate and remember the past history.
I think so too. And if I could just add one little thing, and then I'm going to go to Kelly as well as Kay, is appreciating what has been done for you and before you, right? It lets you know that it's not a done deal, that we all have a responsibility, because all of it can disappear tomorrow, right? No one owes us anything. We have to create it. So I think that should remind everybody has a responsibility to, again, continue to pay for it. So I salute you and all of your colleagues, which I am one of. You know what I mean? Here's a question that just popped up. Kay, or anyone who wants to comment, seeing some initiative amongst the Orlando community with other women's sports programs to partner to lift each other's following and support. Are you seeing initiatives? Are you seeing some kind of like team play with all the women's sports that are happening in Orlando?
Absolutely. We actually, right as COVID hit, actually, we started a chapter of women in sports and events. It's a national organization, and it is mostly all the sports teams, but there are like both the big hospitals in Orlando are part of the initiative as well, because they have events. But it's a great opportunity for everyone who's working in those spheres to to talk to each other, to lift each other up, to support each other. So for example, the Valkyries had their inaugural game 2 weeks ago, and most of the WISE chapter were there. Like everyone went because they wanted to show, you know, we are going to support not every sport, but especially women in sport. But it means you can talk to someone at NASCAR about marketing, or you can talk to someone at USTA about corporate partnerships. So it's this great group of women who have come together to like really support each other. And I think,
that.
and I think one of the things, you know, you asked me to do the last time I saw you was talk to a whole group of girls, of schoolgirls.
Correct.
And I called it Beyond the Pitch because I want people to know that there's this tiny percent of people who get to play professionally. It's very small, but you can still be involved in the sport that you love. And I love bringing kids around our stadium and say, you know, we've got 6 people in finance, we've got 4 people who do videography, we've got 3 people doing social media, we've got somebody who has to cut the grass, somebody who has to wash the kit, somebody who has to do the physical therapy. There are so many careers tied to sports. And I've said to those girls, come on, we need more women in those roles to help put the emphasis on women's sports. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's fun living in Orlando right now for sure.
Which reminds me, by the way, Kay, we have to pick up on this because we had like 500 girls that day, and we said we're going to have a field trip to the Orlando Pride. We need to follow up on that. I don't think we'll bring all 500. That's our Generous Wow Club. That's very active. And so thank you for doing that. I'm going to start with you, Kay. Wrap up question
Okay.
as quickly as you can, but I'm always fascinated by what people how people will answer this question. What is your dream women's sports scenario?
Oh,
Kelly, I'll go to Kelly. Kelly.
there you go.
Well, a couple of things from this discussion. So is again, not only having these tremendous role models as the athletes inspiring the kids of today, but also as we see the business leaders also inspiring, again, not everybody's going to make that pro team, inspiring women to put their best foot forward, show up and step up to being in the corporate world of business as well. After I retired as a player, I helped create a line of women's hockey equipment and sticks.
Ooh.
And with that, I signed the first ever female ice hockey player to an endorsement contract. And with that, I had so many parents coming to me as like, oh, my daughter loved you as a player, but as what you've done in business now in the sport of hockey, which was really rare at the time, you are a greater role model and inspiration to her now because she wants to, you know, work for XYZ company in hockey when she grows up. And again, I think it's important, you know, to hit everybody on all different levels. Again, when your percentage of actual players playing in the elite pro and such is a smaller number, but let's include everybody in this.
That's awesome. How about you, Liz? Your dream sports scenario?
That these young women would connect to the past, because they keep saying how far the game has come in every sport. Oh, the game has come a long way, it's come a long way. How can you truly gauge how far it's come if you don't know where it began? And once you do that, once you connect to it, I think they'll rediscover their why. And I'm speaking that from experience with the young women that we touch. Their whole reasons for playing and understand, they didn't even know why. So I think it will make their why take on a whole different perspective.
I actually hear one other thing. You really do think we can all get back together and kick their butts, don't you?
Look, well, my board, I got Machine Gun Molly on my board, and Shar and Adrian and Retha and Trisha. I mean, I got a board that could, yeah. And you come on, you and Annie, and we'll have a full squad.
No problem. Listen, we have to just keep getting that ball to Molly. That's all I can say.
The game has been for a long time, and every sport, the game has been good for a long time. They just need to know that and understand that and appreciate that. You know,
Awesome.
that's all we want.
Okay, and Kay, dream sports. I think you lived yours. I don't know what's next.
I just want to see the time, talent, and resources being invested in women's sports.
Yeah.
And anybody listening, you can go online on the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sports, TIDES. They release a race and gender scorecard every year for all the leagues, NBA, MLB, NFL, NWSL is coming in, MLS, but they score you all the way from ownership right down to managers within your front office, and they score you on your hiring practices. And so I want people to pay more attention to that and make sure that they are improving those scores year over year, that they are hiring more women and they are hiring more diverse candidates. So that's my wish. I literally have to run right now. They're messaging me and saying, you're on next. We're doing
All right, go
orientation.
be on next. I'm going to wrap
We're
up here. Thank you.
doing
Hey,
orient-
everybody stay with us. I just want to say, hey, everyone. First of all of these women, wait.
Whoa, there's Donna.
Sherry. That's my hustle. That's me. Let's see. Are you here, Liz? I played the New Jersey Gems. That's one of
Yeah.
my first draft picks.
Actually,
Really cool.
you're playing against us. That's Adrian come in number 25 in the middle there, where you're shooting in the middle.
No, Adrian Mitchell, didn't I play
Yes,
college?
Adrian Mitchell. No, she played with us first, and then she was traded.
Oh, she went to my college. All right, Sherry, that's so cool. All right, thank you so much. It's real. We didn't make these stories up. I actually did play, and I
Donna.
still miss it. Let me just say, all of these women were firsts, and yet they're continuing to be first, right? Liz, in her appeal and her work for history. Kelly, your business work. I love knowing that you signed the first female hockey player to a contract. Talk about stepping in and being first and setting an example. And of course, we heard all this first from Kay. I'd encourage everybody here, let's go encourage a girl to play, or encourage the girl in you to continue to play. I don't care how old you are. There's nothing better for our health, being of strong mind and body. Helps us to believe in our best selves, to become our best selves. So be sure to continue to celebrate with us when Generation W comes together for our annual Thought Leadership event, both in person and at the University of North Florida. Kelly, I hope you can fly down. Liz, get a group. Honestly,
Donna, we would love to. Can I give
sure Kay and bring some of the pride over? Our theme this year is belief, and I have to tell you that whether with us or I got a lovely note from a woman in France last year, sharing how meaningful the Generation W experience was. Amazing speakers. Today, I'll highlight one. Actress Tina Lifford will be with us. She's known as Auntie Bai on Queen Sugar. She speaks on inner fitness, going with today's theme of sports, and she's been a big part of Generation W since we started. Next refresh. This one will be hard to top. You ladies were fantastic, I have to say. But on the 21st, we do have another amazing person. She is standing ovation earning. She's erudite. She's inspiring. She happens to also be the board chair, but earns her way in the world by teaching leadership, most notably at the United States Naval War College and around the country. Dr. Olinda Johnson, what a treat, will be with us the 21st. We'll talk about leadership. We'll talk about Generation W. We'll talk about being the best, all the things that are important and will inspire us, and do all the things we like to do at Generation W, learning together, inspiring together, connecting together. So I will see you on February 21st, if not sooner. Remember to connect with us, update everything on Generation W, Generation WOW, and check in on some of our programming and what's going on with Generation W. Till then, have a celebratory day. Play hard, live hard, and celebrate each other, lift each other up. Have a great day, and God bless y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, all of you who joined us.
Thank you, everyone.